2009 and 2013, these were the 2 times when I underwent immense amount of stress because of some things that were professional and personal. Also, I heard about suicide cases of some of my students that deeply disturbed me. And that was one reason why I took full-time entrepreneurship in the field of emotional well-being. So these are the things that helped me cope up. Okay, these are personal. Sharing with you because I think that we have a connect. Okay. Starting your day with 5 minutes of rhythmic breathing. So if there is an alarm, I get up, and for the first 5 minutes, first I put rose water in my eyes because I am dehydrated when I get up, and also I don't want to fall back asleep again. So, and then I would just take 5 minutes and I would do deep breathing. It's amazing how my mind relaxes out of that. Second, I maintain at least one routine. So there is at least one thing in my day that I would do every single day. One of that being yoga. That, when we are not feeling good, when we are in a state of stress, we are in a state of chaos. We don't want any routine. We feel like falling apart. So rituals like 4 p.m. tea with your family, these are routines that heal you because they make you feel like you belong. Or rituals like going out for exercise, going out in a certain space that is transcending. That's not limiting, it's not closed, does not have 4 walls. I don't go out for gymming and all because I feel that's a very closed culture. So I would go out and do exercise. So talked about early morning breathing for 5 minutes, then talked about one routine. It could be any self-nourishment routine. Yeah? Anything. It could be anything. Then what I do is that I write these thank you notes every single day. Yeah? Minimum 5. And there are times when I feel really bored and irritated that why do I need to do? And then I tell myself I've been preaching it, I must practice it. And almost always, in fact there's not even any almost, always after writing them, I suddenly feel better about the world that I live in. Because all day long we are listening to negative news. All day long there's someone telling us what went wrong. Who will tell us what went right? If nobody else is, then we must. So that our orientation is positive. Yeah. What I do is that when somebody is speaking harshly, I try to forgive and not judge. This is difficult because when somebody is speaking harshly or doing something that's harsh, instantly they want to do something about it. I ask myself that do I want to interact with this trigger or is it more optimal to let it be? And almost all the time it is optimal to let it be. So that is also a subjective decision. You see, the kind of world that my professional life makes me meet, that in that world this works. So you can see how your world is. Obviously it's all subjective. I forgive myself. If I make a mistake, I forgive myself. All of us are learning. Age is just a construct. I know all of you, when you get up in the morning, you look like 2-year-old babies. You might not want to believe in it or agree with it because you have learned a lot of things about who you are, which was a conditioning and a construct. So I let myself be. If there are mistakes I make, it's all right. Embarrass as much yourself as you can, because when you do, what happens, people are able to connect to you. Why? Because they see that here is somebody who is vulnerable and is not scared of being vulnerable. True? So if I can come up here and I can say that, you know what, this is how I'm feeling, then what is the message I give? That I'm not afraid to hide who I am. Then you are not afraid to hide who you are. And that's how great relationships happen. Yeah. I have written this. Forgiveness heals heart energy leakages. So all the places where we are leaking emotional energies, forgiveness heals that. No? Think about any one person that you are angry at because of any reason. Think of letting those leakages be closed today after this session as a gift to me. That, there was somebody named Charnata, she had come and she had said that, and I don't know, I just felt like forgiving. And once you will do that, your smile would be wider, your heart would be more open. It's not rhetoric, it is real. I've done that, I've felt that, I feel that even in this moment. Also, please notice these words that I'm saying. I know What I eat affects how I think. How I think affects how I feel. How I feel affects how I act. Body is mind, mind is body. Repeat it. I know what I eat affects how I think. How I think affects how I feel. How I feel affects how I act. Body is mind, mind is body. These lines are from my little booklet, which is available as an e-book online. It's on mindfulness. That when I eat, I ask myself that, because taste is only to the mouth. And how much do we chew between those WhatsApp and talking and stresses? After it goes inside, affects everything. Everything. I maintain what is called a fruit diet. So I try and get at least 4 different kinds of fruits every single day. In any quantity, in a little quantity maybe. And I write those fruits and I make people who I love and around me do that. And they really feel like I'm a tyrant. But I have seen their bodies change. And that's why they're really grateful to me. Like my mother has lost over 15 kilograms. And from someone who was not able to stretch at all, she can do very difficult asanas. And that makes me feel, oh my God, everything is possible. And for people who have attended workshops at PLS, they know that sometimes the entry fee is bring any 4 kinds of fruits. Because you want to cultivate that habit of fruits. So fruits are natural fast foods. Unprocessed, please go if you feel like going. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. You wanted to come here and stand? Okay, so just this one final thing, that please stick to choosing unprocessed, unpackaged foods. We are living in a culture and an economy where it seems convenient to buy a pack of chips, but it is highly toxic and inconvenient for our bodies. Anything that you apply on your skin goes directly to your bloodstream. Any product, even the companies that say they are herbal. I share these insights on my page as well if you want to know exact websites where you can check the ingredients and the chemical composition and if it's harmful. Because these are the choices that affect not just us, but also everyone. We are interrelated. We are living in a world that's mutual. What I eat, if I throw something non-biodegradable, all of us will suffer. It's the consequence of my action is not limited to me. So we are coming towards a reality of the world where we will have to come together and face each other and decide to take an action. It's a mutual, interrelated world, which Thich Nhat Hanh says interbeing. It's no more individual, it's inter. Yes. And just final things, do things that add meaning to your life. Any one thing that adds meaning to your life. It could be singing and recording in your phone, in the privacy of your phone, sharing it with people who understand you. Any one thing. Forget all judgments, do what you like, adds meaning in your life. It could be doing anything that you want. Please do not take hasty decisions. I've had times when I decide and then I'm like, okay, why did I decide? So when I'm in a state of impulse, I slow down. Slowing down is very good. The final thing is that when you slow down, Viktor Frankl, the person who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, if you want to read it after exams, it's depressing. So Man's Search for Meaning, in that particular book, what happens is he relates his experiences of being in a concentration camp. And he's a psychiatrist. So the problem with people who have studied psychology is that we can think a lot. And when you become that thinkaholic person who can analyze each and everything, then madness, let loose. So Viktor Frankl used this positively, he channelized it positively, and he gave very interesting thought of positive empowerment. He said that between the trigger, between the stimulant and the response, there is a space. Between the stimulant or trigger and its response, which is from our side, there is a space. And this is the space. If you are here, then you can manage any stress. When you are able to slow down, Take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I overestimating the circumstance? Am I underestimating the circumstance? Is it a potential threat? Does it affect my long-term or short-term well-being in any way? Do I want to put my resources in it? Can I allocate it another time to think about? If that space you can widen, that is where the miracle comes up. Your character, your efficiency of management comes up. And when one person starts being a miracle, what it does to others is they get courage to be like that. And not like that does not mean role modeling that person, like that meaning recognizing the miracle that's inside of them. So yes, mindfulness is something that the stretching of that space happens through mindfulness. I wish I had more time and you had